There's a guy in there who was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that James Rolfe was not in good standing with his community." And one of the dudes goes, "Boy, do we have a Reddit for you." So James Rolfe, who, if you're new to the podcast, there's a subreddit called TheCinemassacreTruth. James Rolfe is the YouTube creator responsible for Angry Video Game Nerd and Cinemassacre. And there's this Reddit that's just all of his fans kind of roasting him for constantly complaining that he never has time to make content. The fact that he outsourced his entire content operation to a group of really large guys who are very uncharismatic.
Slobs, if you will.
Slobs, perhaps. Very uncharismatic and very just untalented. But perhaps more than any of that, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, but perhaps more than that, I think it all stems from the fact that James does not interact with his fans whatsoever. He doesn't even seem to be aware of the fact that this kind of sentiment exists or even could exist. He's utterly unengaged. He's outsourced interactions to these slobs. and the slobs are also they mishandle. I think that if you have a 10,000 person Reddit dedicated to memeing you and making fun of you and kind of formerly loving you and currently hating you, the way you handle that is, yes, I think you do pay a little bit. It's 10,000 people. I think you do pay a little bit of attention to it, but you do not show your hand in it. You don't go there and start posting. You can't engage with that. You should engage with fans, but you shouldn't engage with that. But you should learn from it, and you should try to we've said in the past, when they then roll a new video and he's due to the fact that I didn't have time, and I'm like, how could they not be cringing when he records that?
Yeah, when they're editing that video and they know that subreddit exists.
It's almost like they're producing content for the Reddit, and they know it. But anyway, a fan sent an email to James saying hey, I'm a huge fan. I love your stuff. I go to sleep to the sound of your voice or whatever. Do you hey, what's the deal with you're always, it seems like you're kind of burnt out. It seems like you don't really want to be making the content you make. You always talk about the fact that you don't have any time. What's going on? And James replied, and it was a fairly lengthy response too. It wasn't just hey, sorry, don't have time to respond or something. It was kind of desperate and depressed. It was kind of yeah, I have it's true. You're right. I never have time for anything. I'm so far behind. I'm so far behind with no chance of ever catching up. It was something like that. It was I'm completely accepting the fact that I'm doomed with my schedule or whatever, without being well, why don't I just redo what my schedule is? Why don't I just, I'm not thrilled about the fact that my, you take a JonTron or something. It's yeah, this dude only uploads 3 or 4 times a year. But you know what? That would probably be better for Jamesy at this point. Do 3 or 4 videos a year.
3 or 4 videos that he really wants to make.
But what really struck me about this reply was he went into bizarre detail about the fact that he, a ton of his time is So yes, he first of all, he was saying something about COVID was really hard because we couldn't get sitters. And I was once again, it all comes back to but there's 2 of you. I don't understand. You're the person who has the job that makes the money.
Yeah.
And she's not, I assume. So when you're making the money.
He must make at least 6 figures. Yeah.
Yes. No, this guy, there was a time when he was making money for lots of people. He probably still makes money for lots of people. So yeah, the whole my wife can't possibly help me thing is a mystery. Maybe there's something very private going on, but anyway, he went into painful detail about the fact that he's been wrestling with technical issues.
Wrestling them technical gators.
He's wrestling a technical gator at all times.
Just in the mud, rolling around with them gators.
He's like, you don't understand. I've been wrestling with these cables. That's what I mean. It's basically what he said. He was like, it was two things that I remember from this email. one, one was that there was a buzzing sound in his microphone that he can't troubleshoot. It's going on for weeks. It's like my bathroom. You got dudes coming in and out trying to get rid of it.
James, there's a program called Adobe Audition.
Yeah.
You can. This is very easy, James, because I know you're listening. You can do a there's like a denoiser thing where you can capture a noise print, and then you can do it over the whole thing, and it gets rid of that noise.
And that's if you, for some reason, cannot for the life of you replace your microphone or side it or something.
Just get like a Zoom recorder and like another Sennheiser.
At most, this is a $200 problem. At most,
which you can totally solve, James.
Yeah, like it'll be in this week.
If you can't solve that, you have Adobe Audition.
But remember, this is the guy who like who rates the efforts of his videos by how many DVDs it required to record the screen. Like very bizarre shit. Like, what did you do? So that was one. And then the other one was like, oh, I'm having a real big problem with my internet connection. I'm like, I don't know what that has to do with making the video, with recording video.
Get a new provider. Is there fiber in your area? Can you?
But wait, dude, like when you and I get together to shoot Box Max, we do not require the internet the entire time. It's really not until upload time that any internet is required. I don't understand like what internet has to do with it.
Usually the basic whatever internet is fine.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, hell, you could just go to Panera just for the upload. You're James Rolfe and you're just that like destitute. But okay, let's continue to give him the benefit of the doubt on these bizarre issues. Why is it that he has outsourced? Because he's got this like, this team of fat slobs and cavemen that he's like, you'll save my channel. He outsourced the creativity and the creative work to them so that he could continue wrestling with the technical grunt work. Could you flip the equation here? So if anything, I'd be like, I'll outsource the crap so that I can focus on the writing and the it makes no sense, dude.
I don't understand any of this.
Totally incoherent.
Yeah. I mean, you might as well just never answer those questions.
Right? They bring up way too many new ones. And there's the occasional reply that will be like, I think it's good that he did actually reply to you. And I'm like, I don't think it is. I don't think he had anything valuable to say at all.
Keep that secret.
But unlike the most of the posters on the TheCinemassacreTruth, I'm not mad at James. I could really give a fuck. But I am fascinated. Sure, because
it's definitely the most fascinating thing I've ever heard.
Can you even, if it's going to be that incoherent, can you even call it dishonesty? I don't think he's lying. I think he's maybe deluded.
Yeah, he must be. I don't know. Because
got a problem with his internet connection.
He's got a real big problem.
He's like, I only got two down. Like, who cares? I got a buzzing in my internet connection, and I can't figure it out. It's in the walls, man.
Yeah, there's enough evidence here that makes me think he's clueless with technology somehow. Somehow he was a pioneer with internet videos, but he's clueless with them.
Yeah. He was never, I think, despite all of his productivity over the years and all of his success over the years, he never became all that proficient. He never became effective.
Yeah, and that's it. Like I said, it's crazy that he's a pioneer, but he never, you know.
Yeah, one doesn't necessarily mean the other. It's like just because you were successful doesn't mean like you're the best at it, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like an accident, like a freak accident.
And then, much like the season finale of Loki, he it seems that the two subreddits, the official Cinemassacre subreddit and the Cinemassacre Truth, which is the troll Reddit, are now merging because there was a guy named Draco. Well, I don't know. Now that come to think of it, because he was so draconian, I'm wondering if people just called him that as a funny nickname, or if that really was what he went by. Anyway, there was a guy who had a bot that was banning anybody who posted on the Cinemassacre Truth. So you weren't allowed to post on the official one. And head slob Justin Silverman decided that that was like ultimately bad PR to just be like the subreddit is just like indiscriminately banning people. And so he took it over. He gave it to a new set of mods. And what happened then was like a bunch of people who kind of like a bunch of people became exposed to the no time memes, and like the Cinemassacre Truth opened, much like the time continuum.
Oh wow!
And so lots of fun and drama going on over there. I think it's in some way, it's almost like the next evolution of the channel itself. I feel like it's like where the channel could go is like it's taking on a life of its own, and a pretty entertaining one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think James can change.
No,
but maybe the slobs can change.
Oh, the slobs. I actually think that the Justin guy is like pretty high intellect, like a high IQ. But I don't think any of them are creators. I think they're the wrong people to be making things.
Yeah, they're some sort of tradesman in a way.
Couldn't you? I don't know, for the bucks that he must be shelling out to them. Couldn't you hire some creative people like in that fan community? Aren't there?
You could hire us. We'll make you a good content.
Honest to God, I probably could. It'd be tough, but I could do it. Because you have to be making AVGN episodes where like some brilliant, hilarious guy posted that scene from Simpsons where Krusty walks in with like a cigarette and he's like, hey, I'm talking Krusty, and just like runs through all the lines and then bolts out of there. Like this is James filming an episode. You got to work within his extremely limited time. All right, there you go, Drunken Monk. There's your Cinemassacre Truth discussion for the week. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I might clip that and post it on the Cinemassacre Truth and just see what the fuck happens.
That's yeah. Maybe they'll come to our Patreon because we talk about Cinemassacre Truth quite often.
We can't get off of it.
We can't because I think it's too close to home. And
yeah. It's a case study in ourselves. It's looking into like a bizarro mirror where you're like, oh yeah, that's what happens when you bitch about like time constraints too much. Or like that's what happens when like you've just gone too far, like you've gone too long. And yeah, it's an important thing to study. That, and it's kind of like, I don't think you or I are the type to revel in like TLC trash TV. So this is kind of our TLC trash TV. This is
that's true, because it is like reality TV for like YouTubers.
Yeah. We've probably tried 400 macs at this point. The core mission of the show has been to find the best macaroni and cheese ever. You now hold one of 1,000 batches of pumpkin spice KD.
What if I took that Big Mac compound butter and injected it into a turkey? It doesn't taste like McDonald's, but it tastes really good.
And it's a picture of a bowl of macaroni and cheese mosaiced out. Just a heads up, we tried the Flaming Hot Cheeto Mac and it was disgusting. We were excited to see what Jen thinks.
Old Country Buffet. We go in at breakfast a half hour before and then stay into the lunchtime.
When was the last time you were in a Chuck E. Cheese?
We have arcade, and they have fun toys that you can win.
I've been assembling a collection of computers from 1982 to 1992, and today we're going to see if I can print out a banner using an Apple IIe, the same as I did when I was 12 years old.
Do you get a little sentimental about, like, this is probably the last time I'll ever be in this mall? I'm kind of used to saying goodbye to malls.
What are they doing?
I think they're all dead.
Goodbye.
Good day.